Hello, everyone. This will be a short practical course tour. I will leave a lot of stuff about the course, talking about what sort of course it is, what I hope to get for you to get out of it, and things like that. I'll leave that for our first meeting, which will be an online meeting. Uh, this is a purely practical thing to make sure that we all know how to use the Canvas site and what the immediate requirements for the course are. We have a homepage, which I don't like because it's just something you need to click through. But Temple requires that there be this sort of homepage, and then you have this start here thing where you're brought to another page, or not. Maybe it won't. Maybe it won't happen. Yeah, and this is all fine to go through. Obviously, you want to read the syllabus, look at whatever welcome videos, course learning goals, things like that. But frankly, I wish that we could just skip all that and go to the modules section, which is right here in the main menu. And that's where all the real stuff that you need for the course is. This is what you'll be going to immediately when we actually begin doing work for the course. Again, there'll be there's a course schedule, description of course requirements, which is actually quite important for you to read. This is something separate from the syllabus where again, Temple has certain rules for online syllabi, which are, I think, rather unhelpful, and that sometimes it's just good just to lay things out more clearly in a different place, and that's what you'll get here in the course requirements. And I'll probably return to these, but the important thing is to go to modules. You'll see, yes, there's an introductory module. But then you'll see that the course is pretty much organized by week. And obviously all the readings are here. And this is really how we get started. January 12th, which will be the Wednesday of the first week of the semester, reading 1. And you just click on that, and the reading will be there. It's just the first chapter of the book of Genesis from the Bible. So the reading will always be available and will be right there in modules. There we go. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void and darkness. What a great reading. Anyway, so that's the most important thing right away is that you realize that the readings are there available under modules, and they're clearly marked. 112 means, okay, that's our class meeting on Wednesday, January 12th. That's what we will be discussing, and that's what you got to read before class, obviously. Also before class, for every reading, there will be a set of study questions and a study question assignment. So we have reading 1, Genesis 1, and then we have the reading 1 study questions, which will always be below. The study questions will always be below the reading. And if you click on those, you'll see that there's a set of questions that need to be answered before you get to class. The due date is always the same. That is 12 noon on the day that we're scheduled to discuss the text. You need to turn them in on time. You need to turn them in by 12. As you'll realize very quickly, our class discussion will be structured around your answers. What I'll do is I will quickly go through people's responses, and I will make up a PowerPoint of selected student work, and either online or in person, we will use that PowerPoint, which is just quotes from student work, to begin and structure our class discussion. So it's quite important that you get these in on time. It's also important that you write interesting answers, that you write substantive answers. Don't do this in a sloppy way. You have to put some effort into these. It's an ungraded assignment, so that if you answer every question in good faith, I'll give you full credit for the assignment. But if I'm unhappy with your answers, I will reassign it and have you do it over, because you can't just write some throwaway thing. You have to demonstrate knowledge of the text, that you've actually read the text, and you have to put some effort into it. I have to have interesting stuff to do my PowerPoints to begin class, and so I'm relying upon you to say something interesting. A lot of open-ended. Some questions are quite open-ended. Some of them are more specific. But this is something that needs to be done again by 12 noon on the day that we discuss the reading. So that's pretty much the rhythm of the course. Well, we have the readings. They're all marked out in terms of date. The readings are here. You need to do the study questions by 12 noon on the day of class that we're discussing it, and we'll just move through it, as you'll see. Just moving through, reading Genesis, Exodus, Job, reading study questions. The only and then you'll see that we will have an exam, our first exam on the Old Testament material on February 4th. This is not the exam itself. This is just to show you in the schedule that we have the exam. The exam will either be in class, and you'll do it in class, or it'll be online, and I will upload an exam and show you where you can access it. So I'm just filling in the schedule so we know that Friday of that week we have our Old Testament exam. Here you'll see that you'll see the places where you'll be submitting your essays. Your first essay on the Old Testament is due on February 13th. And then we get back into reading Plato. And that's just the way it goes. You have your readings, you have your study questions, and occasionally you have an exam or an essay due. So everything that you need for the course, everything that you need to do the work of the course, the readings, the study questions, the submissions for essays, and again, the exams, we'll see. The exams will either be in person or online. We'll adjust things if they need to be online. But everything is here, and the whole course is basically here. So that's the most important thing. Obviously, all the rest of the stuff you're familiar with. The syllabus is here. I'll probably be changing the syllabus before we get started, but it's more or less here. Probably as we get started, the most important thing, other than reading the syllabus, is to actually look at the course requirements. The most important thing, obviously, doing the readings, description of a study question, assignment, attendance and class participation. That's actually kind of a tricky thing. You have to come to class to pass. You can't not come to class and expect to pass this course. You won't pass. You'll fail the course if you don't come on a regular basis. My idea is, and has always been, that students can miss a week's worth of course for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. So if you decide not to come, I don't care, as long as you're within that 3-class limit. Don't contact me saying I can't make it to class or something. It doesn't matter. So you can miss 3 classes for any reason. And after that, it'll begin to affect your grade. And missing more than 6 classes, which is 2 weeks of the course, is grounds for dismissal from and failure of the course, meaning you got to come to class. Now, the reason it's tricky is because of COVID, right? You don't want to come to class sick, obviously, and you don't want to come to class if you think you might be sick. And this is where it really takes a certain amount of maturity on your part. If you're sick or you think you might have COVID, you don't come to class. That would be ridiculous. And to think that I would somehow punish you for doing the right thing would be equally ridiculous. The thing is, don't abuse this, and use those 3 absences. Don't, use them and keep them in reserve. You might get sick. And if you do get COVID, we can work that out. but you can't just not come to class for long periods of time. You'll fail the course. So regular attendance is required. You should figure on missing no more than 3 classes during the course of the semester. And if you miss more than 6, I will feel absolutely okay in saying you fail the course. You can't miss that many classes. Now, again, if you get ill during the course of the semester, that's something you need to work out with the school and not just with me, okay? And I don't want to get into this excused absence thing. I'm not an absence excuser. I'm a college teacher. I'm not your grade school teacher. So that's not part of my job, figuring out whether your excuse is legitimate. I don't do that. Just basically keep those 3 allowed absences in reserve for when you might need them. And if something bad happens, we'll work it out. But you need to come to class. You need to attend regularly. If you don't, you won't pass the course. Exams, there will be an exam given after each unit of the course. That is, we'll begin reading Old Testament readings from the Bible, and then there'll be an exam, in-class exam. Then we'll read Plato for a while, a few weeks, and then there'll be an exam on Plato, etc. The exams are structured to be the kind of exam that can be done in 45 minutes, which is basically some short answer things, maybe mixed with some longer answer things, but basically a reading knowledge exam. And as I say here, as long as you've done the readings and are comfortable discussing their main themes, you will be well prepared. That is, you just have to know what you're talking about. If I ask you a question about something very basic about the reading, something very essential to the reading, and definitely something that we talked about in class, then you should just have it at your command. And if I asked you to expand upon a basic theme from the reading, something which is a central theme to the reading, something that anybody who's read it will have thought about, then you'll be able to do that. The only way you're going to do badly on the exams is if you don't have familiarity with the readings. Finally, essays. And I will be sending out more directives on essays, but there will be an essay due on each unit of the course. So 4 essays. These will be short essays, 500-word essays, which is about 2 pages. The most important thing is they need to express an idea, an original idea that you have about the readings. And again, I'll go into more depth about this, but these are not research papers. These are not book reports. These are idea papers. Focus on some aspect of some part of some reading that you find interesting, and you'll be fine. But I will give you more directives on that. So I think that's about it. I mean, if you have any questions about the way that the class is set up on the Canvas site, anything like that, please let me know. The remaining thing, I guess, is just the live sessions that we'll be having. At least, for the time that we're online, I will be sending out a separate announcement about that. My plan is not to use Zoom because my little Chromebook computer can't handle Zoom. I can't use Zoom. I hate Zoom. Okay. We'll be using Google Meet, at least from the beginning. I think that is something where I just need to send you a link, which I will be sending out as an announcement so that you can get in. But we'll work that all out later. So we will be meeting during our regular class time for the whole time that we're online, but I'll be sending out some more directives about that. If you have any questions, just let me know. Just give me a call or email me.